My name is Ernest Lamothe. I'm a reporter for the Southland Journal.
Alexi Giannoulias, candidate, Illinois Secretary of State.
Okay. Alexi, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about your overall career?
I was in politics. I ran for the office of state treasurer in 2006. I worked on the campaign of my political mentor, Barack Obama, when he ran for the U.S. Senate. He was a friend of mine from the basketball days, and to see him win that Senate race was very inspirational. I ran for state treasurer at the age of 30 against Mike Madigan, the Democratic Party. It was a lot of work, um, but I was very proud of the work we did in the state treasurer's office. We went after credit card companies that went after college students, low interest loan programs to help people start their first business, buy their first home. We put all the state's assets, investments online. And my first day in office, we passed the most wide-ranging, comprehensive ethics package within state government at the time. So I was incredibly proud of my time as state treasurer. Then I ran for the United States Senate in 2010. And in between 2010 and now, I started an investment company where we, invest in Illinois tech startups mostly. I also served on some nonprofit boards. I was the chairman of the Illinois Community College system. So, pretty busy.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about some platforms that are really important to you?
So the Secretary of State's office is an enormously important office. A couple of my priorities: number one, modernizing the office. I think people are waiting too long in line at the DMV and for government services. They're paying what we call a time tax. What we want to do through modernization technology is to help eliminate that time tax and save people time and effort. As the state agency that more Illinoisans interact with on a daily basis, it acts as a retail operation, providing customer service to customers just like retail stores and restaurants. COVID, unfortunately, has forced us to rethink how we can improve that customer experience by modernizing and using new technology. Our campaign has been the first one to offer new ideas, like our Skip a Line program that allows people to schedule appointments and not endure long lines or wait times. This is just the first plank in our campaign's modernization effort that includes things like digital driver's license and state IDs, and the creation of an app, vision tests online. So modernizing the office will be our priority. Um, Number two, transparency and ethics. People are sick and tired of the scandal and corruption in Illinois politics. And for too long, we have allowed serious ethical reform to flounder while corrupt officials have exploited their office for personal gain. So if I'm elected, I will support a package of ethics reforms that will protect our citizens and our public institutions from abuse and double dealing. I will work to prevent elected officials from serving as lobbyists. I want to end the revolving door between elected office and lobbying. I'm going to create a statewide lobbyist database. And I want to work to increase disclosure rules for both elected officials and lobbyists. Also, a few other things. We're the state's librarian. So we oversee over 600 libraries. We want to make sure we do everything we can to make it the best library system in the United States. More electronic offerings, free tutoring, free mentoring, resume prep work for those who want to start start a first job or get a job. We're also essentially the state's SEC officer, so we go after white collar criminals and corporate criminals. We want to hire more auditors, more investigators, more attorneys, and then small business ownership. I'm a big proponent of helping create small businesses and bring businesses here to Illinois. The Secretary of State is in charge of all business registration and corporate registration in Illinois. What we want to do is, through modernization, turn our DMVs into essentially small business service centers, right? So if we have some entrepreneurs, especially in underserved or rural communities, who want to start a business, they don't necessarily know the difference between an S corp and a C corp and an LLC, or the tax ramifications of those designations. So we want to help encourage them to start their businesses, expand their business, grow their business, especially for folks who may not know where to start. Lastly, and most importantly, is the fight for voting rights.
Mhm.
What we're seeing across the country is this dangerous assault on voting rights, which to me is the biggest threat to our democracy that we've seen in a very long time. And Republicans are passing laws across the country, sadly and unfathomably dangerously, to make it tougher for people to vote. Secretaries of State are the last line of defense when it comes to fight that fight for voting rights. I want to make sure we do everything we can to enfranchise voters, to make it easier for people to vote. And I view that as the biggest threat to our democracy.
And you spent a lot of your career being a public servant. Can you talk a little bit about the essentialness of why you really wanted to be part of that career?
Yeah, great question. Both my parents came to this country as immigrants, and when they came here, they had nothing, but they believed in the promise of America that if you work hard and make sacrifices, then your kids and grandkids can have a brighter future than you ever could. And sadly, that American dream has taken a hit, over the last couple decades. And I think my parents always instilled in me the importance of public service, of giving back, of being part of a larger community. And I've always thought that politics is a great avenue for public service. And if we had more leaders step up and serve and help, then as cheesy and idealistic as it sounds, we can make this world a better place. And that's the only reason that I'm running for office.
Mhm. Is there anything else you'd like to add that maybe we didn't talk about?
No, I do believe in public service, and I think with the challenges that our state is facing, that our country's facing, that our democracy, that our planet are facing, we need folks to step up, play a role. As the only candidate who's run and won a statewide office, I think keeping the seat in Democrat hands is enormously important. I'm incredibly proud of the support we've received so far on this campaign from over 250 elected officials, organizations across the state. So I believe in public service. I want to help people, and I'm honored to be your future.
Mhm. Well, Alexi, thank you so much for taking some of your time today.
Thank you. It's great to see you.
Mhm.